Push the button.
Button is pushed. On episode 76, we know what episode it is this week. We're much more together this week.
We are all, last week. We're all over the show this week.
Episode 76 of Ladies Wot Pod. I was going to say, it's not the last episode of the season, but it's the last episode where we're reflecting on a single game of the season. And I did realise that in our confusion last week as to what day it was, what episode it was, and everything else, we didn't introduce ourselves.
I know, we did it again. Or rather, we didn't do it again.
Yeah, which is a bit remiss, really, because we had either people watching twice or lots of extra people watching and listening last week. So thank you all very much. But shall we introduce ourselves then? You go first, Mrs.
Claire Jones on the edge of the fence, usually with a camera stuck to my face, and a busy camera it was yesterday too. Club photographer at Northampton Saints, and just as well I was there. More of that shortly, given what happened. Yes, on the edge of the fence. Normally have a red hat and a camera, and been doing this gig for quite a while now. That's me.
Good, that's you. And I am Liz Saunders, and I am in sunny South Northamptonshire, and I am chairman of the Saints Supporters Club, and I am Chief Halo and all round. Well, I'm Claire's shadow when necessary, when it gets me places. Like training. Oh, it's Claire. Where's Liz? There she is. Hiya.
We're going to miss that for a bit when they goes on their holidays. Yes,
well, everybody's on their holidays. So Saturday we went off down to Gloucester for our jollies, really, and it was. I was talking to David Rose, who was in the van outside, was the TMO on Saturday, and he said it was always going to be, unless there's anything in it in the playoffs or anything, it was always going to be a bit of a non-event Saturday, and we quite rightly rested the key players from last week who must have been so knackered. So those who were still standing, that is, that although some of them played, didn't they? But so we sent a different Saints team down, and I was going to say I wasn't expecting anything really. I was just going for a day out to Gloucester in the sunshine, nice day out. See, oh hello. So I've just had Matt Litchfield commented on a photo that you're tagged in. Oh, right.
What's he said? Shall I have a look while you're talking?
Yes. So off we travelled to Gloucester. Gloucester, of course, there was something in it for Gloucester because they could, if all other results went their way, they could manage to sneak into the top four. Now, we were key players in this still because having beaten Saracens, then Saracens needed us to then beat Gloucester and other results to go their way to have any chance at all of getting into the top four. None of which happened. So the top four is as it stood as we went into the weekend. And Gloucester finished 5th and Saracens finished 6th. Saracens were 6th.
That'll be the team
and that was
decided
after they
concentrating on the league. That went well.
That was nice. That was nice. Yes, all round pluses, really. All round pluses then. So so we had new people. It was I said to you, a day of hellos and goodbyes, because we said hello to Ed Prowse as skipper. That was he looked very proud, did he not? He was in the zone. You could see he was taking that mantle very seriously.
Yeah.
And we also said hello to a new centre.
Just
what?
1 minute, Ed. Look, having a change of heart over which way round you're playing after you've run out onto the pitch. I'm not having that. As I walk past Lizzie going, what are you going on?
yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that in a minute. So we also had a new centre pairing, didn't we? With young, very young Henry Lumley. He's so young. You forgot that Tom Litchfield still counts as young. It's just great. Tom Litchfield thought the kids did well. Oh, that made me feel so geriatric.
Yes.
So Henry Lumley, at 17 years, 217 days, was the youngest Saint to play in the Premiership, and we suspect the youngest Premiership player, possibly. Ever.
Somebody will tell us. Do tell us in the comments below if we've got it wrong. But he's certainly the youngest Saint ever to play in the Premiership.
Certainly the youngest Saint. And I have to say, I thought he played so well. I mean, at one point, there were, I was going to say, a couple of times when there was a naivety or it just that step up to the speed of Premier Rugby. He'd not
adult rugby. That was his first adult game of rugby.
Bloody hell!
Not age
and
group
who was
rugby.
he up against? Rowan Ackerman.
Yeah, well,
Christian
Rowan
Wade
Ackerman,
on the wing.
It was like he thought, all his lunches had come at once. He was. Yeah. Henry was having none of it. Well done, Henry.
Yeah, well done, Henry. And so showed some real promise. So that was exciting. So, and goodbyes. So
don't forget James Pater.
Oh, James Pater. Yes, he came on off the bench.
Yeah,
and he's only 17 and a sneeze or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not much older. Yes, yeah.
So they've both just signed contracts with the senior academy.
Yes, and they were in the winning team that we, ironically, were at Kingsholm in a somewhat cooler Sunday evening, watching the win earlier this season. So well done to both of them. But it's great to see that they looked the part when they came on.
Yeah, he came bouncing on and looked quite happy. And you said they were very upbeat afterwards and wanted to go and do the whole thing
more.
Again.
Can we play some more, please?
So now let's go to the goodbyes.
Yes.
So it was fond farewell to quite a lot of the players who played yesterday were leaving the club, and they till the last minute they didn't let us down. They played their hearts out.
No,
starting with Jake,
really well.
Starting with Jake Garside at 15, who has the heart of a lion, and it's not been announced where he's going, is it? Yeah, we know where he's going, and it'd be brilliant.
I think it's the world's worst kept secret that he's heading west. Yes.
Yeah, but this club seems to be announcing players one at a time for their new side. Does that give you a clue? But he will be brilliant, absolutely brilliant there. And who knows what the future holds for him? But I can see great success in the championship. So, Toby Cousins as well.
Another clue. The championship.
Championship. Yeah, well, come on. But that's not going to be going to, Division 3 North, is he?
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with Division 3 North, but that's not where he's going. Toby Cousins, who, so he's leaving us. Played very well. Where do we know where he's going?
I don't know where he's going. No. I'm just ticking them off on our list to make sure we cover them all.
So those two started, didn't they? Then and Tarek, who is leaving us.
Yes, and he's going to Leicester and has been announced.
He's going to Leicester, so he's almost dead to us. Sorry, Tarek, but you know how it goes.
Yeah,
you know what it's like once you go there. It's not really true. We will still say hello.
Of course,
we are available for
if he's allowed
counselling and therapy.
A bit funny up the road, anyway.
Yeah, you might need the warmth of the Ladies Wot when you're up the road in the frozen Leicestershire Oval Park. Good luck, darling. You'll need it. Then others who came off the bench, some sooner than they may have planned. More of that later. Callum Hunter-Hill showed what we have missed with him. He's been so unlucky with injuries this season. Absolutely, come back, played half a game, gone again. And just so sad. And
I had a really good game yesterday. Really good game.
Yeah. And good luck to him wherever he goes. Ewan Baker, likewise, came off the bench, played his heart out. I know where he's going. I don't know if that's a known thing. Has that been announced?
Well, it's certainly being openly talked about that he's going to Coventry, so I think we can say that. So I think
it's not been sent. He's going of his own accord. We
in
still
fact,
love Ewan
press
as well.
last week. No, it has been talked about because Coventry have had a lot of leavers, including one Aaron Hinkley. I noticed he's gone, so I don't know where
I
he's
noticed
going.
that.
Yeah, but they've decided to change strategy on their recruitment. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, so Ewan's just up the road, won't have to move house or anything, I wouldn't have thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then, last but by no means least on our list, Little Langdon, Nathan, who at some point I definitely heard somebody say, "Come on, Curtis." It's not Curtis.
Well, actually, I can't remember who it was I was talking to yesterday. I said, I can never tell the difference between the two of them. And pointed at Nathan, went, well, that's Curtis. And so that must be Nathan. And I went, no, it's the other way round.
Close, but no cigar. You got 50-50 chance there. When they're on the pitch with their headgear on.
Well, they're both wearing the white scrum cap, yeah.
Excuse me, I just got a huge spider come crawling down there. Off. So yes, so that was.
Yeah, so Junior, we don't know where at the moment. When I last talked to him, he wasn't sure what his plans were next. But we wish Nathan well. He's a top chap. Yeah.
He's a lovely young man, and surely somebody will snap him up because he's a pretty decent player.
He is a decent player. Belters, our old friend Belters, of course. I don't know if we talked last week. He's off to Sedgley Park. He's returning to Sedgley Park.
He's gone back home, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I last week I took photographs of him at training when I did the Bedford team photo. So yeah. So on to the game, and what a game!
Well, yeah. I don't know whether Gloucester came expecting it to be, having looked at the team we put out against Exeter and how bad Exeter were, and thinking, oh, well, it should be easy for us because we're much higher in the table than Exeter. Well, they were rubbish, I thought Gloucester were, to be honest.
Yeah, we're all over the show. Errors all over the place, ill discipline. If that's their first team... then they've got a lot of thinking to do over the summer. I mean, they're losing loads of that team. Santa Carreras, Anscombe's going, Clark's gone, Ackerman's gone. I mean, he was just like, who's left? Last man standing. And that does seem to be the Gloucester way. They have these mass clear outs and they bring some more in and everyone gets really excited at it, and then the whole cycle starts again. So they don't seem to have the continuity of squad. That left wing of theirs that scored, was it a hat-trick, couple of tries? He was rather good, that youngster.
Jack.
Yeah, somebody or other. Reeve or something. He was very good. I was impressed with him. Very good. But it did seem, like the Gloucester faithful again have been shortchanged after the season they had. So yeah.
I mean, I really anticipated their last game at home. We're sending a not full strength side. There's something in it for them. They wanted to avenge the 92-0 defeat at our place this time last year. I thought they'd really be gunning for it, and they lacked foul. I mean, they had. There's the Christian Wade intercept that Henry Lumley won't do that again.
No.
And in fact didn't. So there was that sort of teed them up, and that wing down the same wing each time. It was. Some of their tries were lovely, I have to say, but they were also quite lucky with them as well. And we made some handling errors when we should have still been putting pressure on, but there you go. It is what it is. And I think the score flattered Gloucester, actually.
Well, we were pressing at the end because we wanted to get 2 points out of the game. You know, the guys. It was fantastic to see that they were still battling, and the likes of Yak Mappin coming on, and they were giving it a go. And frankly, the fact they were giving it a go, the fact they were still playing that Saints way, fair dues. I mean, they put everything out there. I love the fact we saw Luke Green, playing lots of minutes. I love the fact we saw Chunya. Tom Lockett came on, so it was good stuff. It was really good. Tom Lockett in the back row was interesting. I'm sure. I think a bit like Colsey, we might see more of him in the back row because his ball handling skills are very, very good. He just needs to up his pace a bit. Finn Brown. Finn.
I thought he had a solid game.
How many Doncaster and Newcastle captains are this club going to hire? Because we've had Sammy G and Finn Brown from Doncaster Knights, and we've had Dowse, and we will get Callum Chick from Newcastle. We seem to sort of hoover up captains. Very good. But no, Finn played very well, and he looked like he was enjoying himself. I know that Elliot was enjoying himself because he made a point of coming over to tell me.
It was streamlined. That's why. So much easier when you've not got the wind resistance.
Matt Litchfield was having a go about his haircut. Well, I think it's his beard more than anything, because his beard was very trimmed. He wanted the hangover look to continue, Mr. Litchfield. I must admit, I like the trimmed version. I think that was, much fun as the bearded wonder was. I think I prefer the.
Yes, it gone from sort of looking like a pirate. I felt at one point.
Yes,
to looking like he'd been shipwrecked. Looking like he'd been shipwrecked, really.
Yes. Well, he said he felt wrecked when he came on. So he went in the semi-final and final. He'd used so much nervous energy on the bench. So yesterday he actually enjoyed because he just came on and played, and you could tell he was having fun. He was having fun out there. So yeah, absolutely, it was good to see. And we'll talk about international shortly, but we've got some interesting matchups this summer. We've discovered, haven't we?
Yes, we have. One that we haven't thought about.
We'll talk a lot about that. Yes, but I thought it was a good. I thought it was a good game. If I were a Gloucester supporter, I'd be worried. As a Saints supporter, I mean, we're now seeing Johnny Vyman as the old man of the team.
What a game he had!
I mean, it was like 19. We had to check his age because we're still confused. Yeah. 19, and he's like an old man. He's very, he's pushing people around. He's not Thomas Williams. Thomas who? You might be a lion, but I don't care.
It was much easier for him though without TJ protecting him, which was what TJ was trying to do next.
Trying to get TJ out of the way and Matt Litchfield. The coast was clear to get to the breakdown, which did make life much simpler.
I was going to say, my goodness me, you can see the influence Mitch has had on that boy. Oh, and so many of his moves, straight out of the Mitch playbook. Mm. And how many 50-22s? 3 was it? 3 or 4?
Those 50-22s, they were gorgeous, and usually for a King's Home crowd, they didn't even complain about them. They didn't boo them. It was just like, oh.
I think there was one they did. There was one they did, but yeah.
Hutch is growing into his role at 10.
Yes.
He had
much more assured, more knowing what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, he's great. He's had to do it several times now. I think he's imperious, Yeah. So well done, Hutch. So
just the 10-year age gap between the scrum half and the out half. Then. Sorry, Hutch. I wish I hadn't thought of that. Well, I wish I hadn't said it when I thought of it. Sorry, Hutch. I still think of you as a youth. Don't worry.
Making his debut at Welford Road.
Yeah.
Those are the days. Anyway, so I thought he played particularly well. But so and as we said, this is a team that hasn't played together. They haven't played together, and yet they looked in parts far more assured than the Gloucester team that they were facing up to.
Yeah.
So well done. So we do need to pick our Ladies Wot Pod Player.
We need to, before we just do that, a shout out to Tom Pearson coming back from his injury. And I thought
he looked really, really sharp. Yeah. Well, we were talking about the back row the other day, and we forget about the likes of TP and Finn Brown, and
And so I think the people sitting behind me knew TP, or one of them knew TP, but I hadn't seen him for a while, because she said, "Oh, he's filled out," and I looked and I said, "Oh, he has. You're right. So, he has bulked up, but not lost any pace, which is
no
good.
pace whatsoever, and flinging people every which way. Yeah, I don't think Christian Reid will want to see him again in a hurry. If you think about TP's try,
yes,
this is something you're going to need to learn when you go to Wigan, Christian. The handoff. They do a lot of that in rugby league. And you'll not get away with what you were trying to get away with yesterday, as in not fending him off.
So let me just get this right. So Christian Wade started with rugby union, went and tried NFL, came back to rugby union, is now going to rugby league.
In a week, next week, Wigan wants to join next week, yes.
Has he got ADHD, do you think, that lad?
Or maybe he's got cub badges he's trying to collect,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've done my NFL badge, I've done my rugby union badge, I've done my rugby union comeback badge, I'm winding up Chris Ashton badge, and now I'm going to wind up Chris Ashton again, because he's ex-Wigan. And,
Yes, go rugby league. If we see him playing ice hockey, we know he's just going for his badges.
Yeah, turning up with the 5 Flyers or something. Yeah.
Anyway, so player of the match, Mrs. J. We're in agreement, aren't we?
Oh, we absolutely are. But we do have some. We do have some honourable mentions. I think we have to. There has to be an honourable mention to Hutch. There has to be an honourable mention to TP. Lots of the players played really well, but those two I think stood out for me as cutting the mustard. Mr. Dependable, actually, no, I have forgot Mr. Dependable. Mr. Dependable. Top work.
Yeah.
Top work. Putting him in the middle of the park means he's safe from Matt, don't you think? Because I think
Matt much safer there.
However, Matt can't get on so easily. Yeah.
We believe that one of the commentators made reference to.
Yes, we believe that Mascarrett asked how many Litchfields are out there, to which your retort when you found out this was?
Well, it could be 2. Could be any number.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Usually it's 2. Yeah, because Mr. Dependable's fending off his father.
Yeah. Who was dressed in an absolutely hideously bright shirt.
That was bright, wasn't it? That Hawaiian shirt was, whoa! I mean, and being orange, bright. It would have clashed with all the red.
Yes. Yeah, it was very bright. Very bright.
Yes. Yeah.
Hot marks for brightness. Not so much for taste.
Sorry, Matt, we love you. You know we do.
You know we love you. And we know you will dish it out back to us.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, there we go. And there's only one thing worse than being talked about on the Ladies Wot Pod, isn't there? And that's not being talked about on the Ladies Wot Pod.
Yes, absolutely. So, our Ladies Wot Pod player of the match is...
Johnny!
Yay!
Young Johnny.
The lovely Johnny Wyman. Oh, Wyman. Is it V or W? I'm going to have to ask Lizzie's mum. Anyway, either way, he's good, isn't he?
He's very good. Very good.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely try. Aim for the hat. In fact, he was running towards the corner and then darted back so that he was now running towards the hat. I mean...
Bless him.
Bless him.
Well
Bless
trained.
Bless him.
Well trained,
Very
that boy.
well trained. I just love the fact he was not letting Tomas Williams get away with anything.
No.
You might be British and Irish Lion, but I've got your number, mate. Yeah. At 19. 19, everybody.
My mate, who's also a British and Irish Lion, has taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm. He'll probably be playing in the tests, unlike you. Anyway,
now.
and then Sgt Wilson. Well, we've got
Sgt Wilson Award.
Because of course Ferbs and Dingers were resting. Well done, gentlemen. And get better soon, Ferbs.
Yeah.
We have a new. It's not often a member of the back row. Have we ever had a back rower win the Sgt Wilson? No.
Oh, has Colsey won it?
Oh, Colsey might have won it whilst rather than playing the second row, playing the back row. Yeah, that could be it. Yes.
My son, don't know. Yes. We need to go back and keep lists of this. Really.
Well, we do. We've now. Yeah. God! But that means we've got to listen to 70. Well, no, because we didn't do it to begin with. We didn't do it until that Exeter game. That famous Exeter game when literally Ferbs, having been clotheslined, said, "Would you mind awfully?" And that's where it started. Anyway, and long may it continue. Yes, so our winner of the Ladies Wot Pod Sgt Wilson Award, much sought after, as we know, because a certain captain was surprised to have lost it, is TP, Tom Pearson.
Yeah, Tom Pearson. Yeah. And it could have gone to the so Ed, obviously, bless him. For those who haven't caught up with it, Ed Prowse was skipper and had a horrific injury in the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
It wasn't long into the game. And for those of you wondering, did Claire capture it? Yes, I did. And no, you won't ever see it. Put it this way. I was looking at the thumbnails of the sequence of photos, and those make me feel ill, let alone the full-size ones.
So basically broke his arm.
He broke his arm, and things were pointing in directions that...
No, that's enough. I don't think we need to go any further into detail. People might be listening to this as they're dog walking,
munching their tea.
And might make them sick.
Yeah. It was not. It was really not a nice event. And
he went off.
He did go
with
off.
His arm in a.
And I can actually show you. These are not finished editing, so I think we need to see Kira in full action with a very special bit of kit, by the looks of it. Yeah. No. Let me. One of the reasons I want to show it. There's the accident, and there we go. And so I'll just where have we gone? Look at his arm. Very special bit of kit. So is he?
Look at his face. You can tell he's been on the gas and air.
Is he under his right arm, and Kira holding his left arm very gently? Blessed. But isn't that an amazing bit of kit?
That is incredible.
For those of you who are listening on Spotify, Ed is actually, he's not going to win the haircut award of the year, is he? Ed is being led from the field by two of the medics. Kira is watching Ed very, very carefully, and Izzy's trying not to fall over, I think would be a fair way of describing it. But poor Ed.
Could they not have put somebody bigger on the other side of him, though? Because if those pain-killing drugs had actually taken effect and he'd gone, she'd have just gone with him.
Well, Izzy's strong. Now, what I can say is, here is TP.
Yes.
Very quickly. I mean, you can tell these are not edited because they're not cropped or but you can see there's a look of love between those of you on Spotify. We're not still in the land of photographs. So there's a look of love, isn't there? There's a bonding beginning to happen. Yeah.
But he didn't start. He started out a bit ref until he realised that Lewis Ludlow and his cronies were going at the ref non-stop, and TP had the sense to think, if I step back, hang on, if I just step back, and be nice and polite.
And one of my favourite shots. Where is it? Here we go. One of my favourite shots at the end, after Johnny's try, I'll just share it, is hold on, it's just, in the background, look carefully, ladies and gentlemen, to those of you on Spotify, you're going to have to look at YouTube again, have a look on the left, and who is remonstrating with Sir? Did it make any difference? No. Not a sausage.
No.
Not a sausage.
Well, in fact, I think it did make a difference because I think Sir got thoroughly teed off with Gloucester. I mean, he warned them several times, actually. That they were under. But Chunya, when TP went off, Chunya came on and continued in the. Well, Chunya's won the award before anyway, but he continued arm around the ref. Polite, nice, and well done, boys. Well done. It was really, really good to see.
Top work. Working positively with the referee. We've said it all the time. Losing your temper with them, it's not going to change anything. Make friends, and it's amazing what can happen. Just ask Tom West. Yes, so it was a good trip west, and it served a purpose because the coaches gave some game time to some players that they were very keen to give some game time to, and we saw two youngsters who had joined Saint 21. Oh, hello, what is it? Saint 2010 and 2009 or yes, anyway, another one off the production line, so well done Hoppers and co. Top work. Okay, yesterday was Bedford's last game of the season. They were up in Wirral, is it Caldy? Well, near Liverpool.
Somewhere up there.
Yeah. And it was a bit of a squeak. Yes, they took out a big lead and Caldy came back at them, but they won it in the end, and they'd already secured second place, so for them there really was nothing to play for. Apart from that, they don't like Caldy, and those two teams do not like each other. And lo and behold, they won, and so they've definitely secured second place, and it's a top performance from the lads from Goldington Road, so well done to everybody. Talking of Hawaiian shirts, pink flamingos is all I can say. Sherpa 2 was covered in pink flamingos.
I fleetingly saw a photograph and I thought,
what is this obsession with Hawaiian? Terrible Hawaiian shirts. Anyway, I could ask. Dr. Jones has a collection of terrible Hawaiian shirts.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yes. So well done to Bedford. And what it means is, Towcester Under 10s. We didn't talk about Towcester Under 10s.
No, Towcester Under 10s. So they were on tour to Gloucester. They went down on the coach, and they had a coaching session with some of the Gloucester coaching staff, the community staff, and a couple of the Gloucester players. And they had a question and answer session with some Gloucester players who they had no idea who they were. Absolutely no idea. But Harry apparently kicked off. He'd got a question for one of the players, and he kicked off the questioning. Alfie was there as well, so it was the under 10s and siblings. Alfie was desperately hoping he could sneak into their training session and do some contact stuff, but no, it didn't happen. He had to go and play with other younger siblings. Many of them, because they're younger siblings, also want to do contact, so it's kind of scrap. They had a parade round the match before the game, around the ground before the game, which is more than most of us could do, because at Kingsholm you can't walk around the inside of the stadium. Bizarre, you can't walk in front of the shed unless you've got a ticket for the shed, or unless you give them that look that says "You are being ridiculous, little man." That was the look I gave, and we were able to do it. But mental. So they did that, and Towcester Under 10s were doing a really good job in singing "Come On You Saints," and they ran out of steam a bit, but they are under 10.
No, they did very well. Yeah. They did very well, particularly in the first half. So what it means, so well done to Towcester Under 10s.
Yeah.
What it means, of course, after all the games yesterday, we should go through what happened in all the leagues, shouldn't we?
We should really.
So in the Premiership, Bath will play Bristol on Friday.
Yep.
And Tigers will play Sale. Top 14 are still going strong. So they've got another couple of weeks to go. All we're going to say is we're not going to become Bordeaux supporters, because we're not. But we do want them to win the top 14 because it means we inherit the seeding that they got by winning the Champions Cup. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. For those of you that like your French rugby, I highly recommend the recently purchased the guy claims he was going to go and buy a family car, but instead he bought the Pro D2 TV rights, and so for nothing you can now watch them in the UK on YouTube. And Dr. Jones and I have suddenly become Montauban supporters. Sorry, Courtney.
Okay.
Because Montauban have had to play two cup games to get to the final. They beat Colomiers last week, and then on Friday they beat Courtney Law's panicking Brive. Oh my lord. Watching a team go into meltdown.
Oh.
Ooh, yes, not good. And it was a home game for Brive, which they conspired to lose. Oh yeah, it was a horror show. Utter horror show. We were gripped. Dr. Jones and I were gripped. So Pro D2 final will be Montauban versus Grenoble. It should be Grenoble versus Montauban if you're going in the order of who won the league, because Grenoble were winners against Timana and George North. Timana Harrison and George North's Provence, who were also expected to do much better than they did. Yeah. So both Provence.
You did say there was a lovely moment with our tea, our Timana.
Tay is such a lovely guy, and he was caught on camera as he came off having been substitute quite near the end of the game. He basically went and shook hands with all the coaching staff and bench he's a quality guy, and
he is.
He's just quality man. So well, meanwhile in the URC.
Meanwhile, in South Africa...
in the URC, Glasgow won on Friday, Leinster won against the Scarlets on Saturday, and the Prendergast defence is the talking point of the Leinster game. Leinster are coming in for a real kicking over their performances at the moment.
Oh, good. So when you say Prendergast's defence, did you find one?
Yeah, we're lacking.
Oh, okay. It's not suddenly look behind the sofa and
found one, and it's still not going
still
well.
Trying to tackle,
touch. And
that's going to laugh really because I couldn't be anywhere near it, but that's not the point.
Yes, and then I've forgotten who else were playing. Oh God, because I don't watch the URC.
There was the Munster and.
I know we've got the one before the Munster one. Let me just check
And that was Bulls versus
the Irish Rugby Championship.
Bulls versus
Leinster. Bulls beat Edinburgh. There you go. Bulls beat Edinburgh in South Africa, which left us with Sharks versus Munster in wherever Durban, isn't it? And there was skullduggery.
There was. And hijinks and shenanigans. And Jack Crowley was filmed giving an absolute mouthful to... yes. It sounds like the Sharks team, the Hollywood Bets Sharks team, were not
at the Hollywood Bets, Kings, whatever, were not the most gracious of hosts. And yeah, there was a bit of barracking going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, it ended up at 24 all after extra time. So it went to penalties. And that's when the shenanigans started.
That's when it all started. Yeah.
That's when it all started. As it turned out, the South Africans came out the winners, and I think the Irish are a bit miffed, to say the least. So,
well, one of them claimed he got cramp and collapsed like a heap of spuds.
It seemed to be somewhere significant on the pitch and was winking. So,
was winking, yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen winking before, and it's never a good sign.
It's never a good look. It's never a good look.
Yeah. So anyway, it does mean.
So it looks like it looks. Oh, hello! It looks like
playing Glasgow in the Aviva.
Mm-hmm.
Glasgow must be relishing that.
Yes. Well, if Leinster are beginning to misfire, it could be interesting.
Well, yeah, could be in with it. Could be in for revenge. And Sharks versus Bulls somewhere in South Africa that nobody cares about.
Yeah, and it could again end up in South Africa.
Well, they've only themselves to blame for letting him in. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah. So lots going on at the club level.
Did they really not think that one through?
Well, yeah. Lots at club level, but we are all on as holidays now. The players are all heading off to have a well-earned rest, some of them before they go on international duty, and we'll talk about the international.
And one of them's getting married, of course.
One of them's getting married.
Sammy
Congratulations to Sam Graham, who's, imminently going down the aisle, or waiting at the end of the aisle. Yes. Congratulations.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Have a lovely day. Sure you will.
I'm sure.
So, your stats for the season, Mr. J.
My stats the season, somewhat confused. And Dr. T, we worked out, was at every game with me. I shot 50 games this season. A combination of Lightning, Bedford Blues, and obviously Northampton Saints. When I say 50 games, this does include pre-season games and the odd friendly. Unlike my overall stat for the number of games that I've shot as Saints photographer, I only include proper games, as I call them. So, your Premiership Rugby Cup, your Gallagher Premiership, and your Europe, whichever Europe we're in at the time, which of course this year was the Champions Cup. And so that has taken me, all my efforts this season, to 557 Saints games.
Impressive.
Yeah, no, it's quite an impressive number. It's over. Oh, and then of course there was one international, which thank you, Ian Winton rightly reminded me, which I made such a song and dance about it. You'd have thought I'd have remembered it. Yes, I visited the Hive to shoot Scotland playing Wales. Cracking game, despite the weather. Which took my mileage to well over 8,000 miles for the year. Not bad, given it's funded by the Bank of Jones. People always think I get paid expenses. No, I don't. I fund all my travel myself. As my husband says, I'm a nutter. So it's a lot of miles, it's a lot of games, and that doesn't include all the training sessions where Liz is, we worked out that Liz
did catch up on the gossip.
Yeah, and you did
catch up on the
gossip once, yes. So it doesn't include any of the training sessions, and that's a few miles in itself. Because of course I'm going over from Cambridge. Any of the community stuff, and all the other bits and bobs that I do throughout the year. So it's been a busy year. I managed 3 new stadiums.
Yeah.
And which were Kingsley Road at Chinner. That's an experience.
Not on your list of favourites.
No.
That one, is it?
No, it's not on my list of favourite. Bit muddy, bit wet, bit dark. The Hive, which is on my list of favourites. I love The Hive. Yeah. And then Stade Jean-Bouin, the very pink Stade Jean-Bouin in Paris.
Very, very bright, though, wasn't it? Very well lit.
Very well lit. I'm sure Christy Coates was crying in a glass of wine at the LED lights because they were brilliant. Utterly brilliant. And people might think, well, surely the Principality the first time? No, because I shot there in 2011. I didn't do any new grounds in the Championship, although Dr. T did because he went to Ampthill for the first time. Ampthill is quite an experience. Through the trees. Yes. It's like the teddy bear's picnic. And that was a wet game where Jake Garside got player of the match from the Blues faithful and asked me as we were walking across the pitch, Claire, why did they pick me? And I went, Jake, you'll have to ask them. Because he's only touched the ball twice. Anyway, yes, but who knows how the Blues followers pick the winner. Has the tea arrived?
Yes, please. That's an old cup. That's right. The IT.
Putting an order in.
Tea department has just come in.
Tea department putting an order in. So it was a busy time. And we'll do a proper review of the season next week. But the other question I get asked is how many games in a sequence have you done? Now, let's turn it round the other way. Since January the 6th, 2013, I have missed 3 games.
Whoa.
The first one I missed because of COVID. I could have gone. In fact, we had flights, hotel, the works. But we actually decided that we wanted to spend Christmas with our daughter. Hello, Miss J. And the chances at the time were, because COVID was in full mode, sitting on a metal tube going to Belfast didn't strike us as a particularly sensible thing to do, so we elected not to travel. The second one I missed was because all my gear was stolen out the back of my car when the car was smashed up. That was the semi-final of the Anglo-Welsh Cup. I was back in harness 3 days later, shooting with the camera that I would have used when I was on holiday, and that was at Coventry Rugby. They're ever so nice about it. Bedford Blues versus Coventry. I did get a very nice picture of Sean French diving in the corner. And then the last one I missed was I didn't go to South Africa this year because, a couple of reasons. Pretoria is not the safest place to go when you're travelling on your own. And it would have been, given I fund my travel, it would have been an exceptionally risky trip. 35 grand's worth of camera, me on my own, didn't strike me as one of my more sensible moves. I have travelled all over the world, but I don't normally have that amount of expensive gear with me. So I elected to stay at home and I shot the Lightning game instead. So it wasn't that I didn't do anything, I just didn't do that particular game. So it's been a busy season for me, as it has for you, Mrs. Saunders. So,
yeah.
And then you're off on your travels.
Yes, so we've got a summer of rugby. We were just trying to work out where everybody was going to be. So I'm off to Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Argentina. Don't mention the Malvinas and you'll be fine.
They're not as sensitive about that as people think. I did the 2017. Well, you were all off in New Zealand. Was it New Zealand? Yes, it was, wasn't it? 2017, having fun. We were, Dr. T and I were one of 2 of 40 England supporters in Argentina. So it's a cracking tour. You'll have a great time. And the Argentinians are very welcoming. And you'll eat a lot of one of the reasons why I wanted to go. Red wine.
One of the reasons I wanted to go was Towcester actually hosted the first touring club side from Argentina to visit after the Falklands.
After the war.
And so it would have been the early 90s. The children were quite little, very little at the time. And they were lovely from Rosario Rugby Club. And they were absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Absolutely delightful people. And I just thought, they always said, you need to come to Argentina. And they said, their attitude. How do they describe the Argentinians? We're Englishmen who speak Spanish, I think was one of the descriptions.
Ooh.
That's how they saw themselves.
One of my favourite things that you learn very quickly when you arrive in Buenos Aires is that they have a weekly riot outside the famous Rosa, whatever it's called, the Pink Palace, and they put up very big steel shields to protect the palace and the gardens. And then I think it's 2:00 on a Wednesday or a Thursday, they meet and they take it in turns. So whatever protesters want to protest. So it was the mothers of the lost sons. One of the weeks we were there, and it's a full-on riot. It all starts very peacefully, and then things start being thrown, and the riot police get involved. And the week. We have to go to a lottery.
You have to go to a lottery to get you know. Well, I've applied for our riot, but we've got to go into the lottery, and it's between us and the Cats Protection League at the moment. I mean, how does it work?
I have no idea, but it's very organised. And we were going to a tango night, and I think you're doing a tango night as well. I think everybody does a tango night when they go to Buenos Aires. The bus driver was really apologetic to get to our hotel, from our hotel to the theatre where this event was being held. Would have gone straight through the middle of said riot because it had overflowed by the obelisk. There's this fantastically wide avenue, 168 metres. It's the widest avenue in the world because Buenos Aires is model. It was designed by the guy who designed Paris. Anyway, so he said, we're going to have to go the long way round. Because they've spilt over. It's late finishing, which appealed no end to us Brits on board, and B, we're going to have to go round it because it's flowed over. So I'm looking forward to you finding out who's rioting when you're there.
Well, yeah,
I think you need to tell us.
The weekly riot. I think something we could introduce in Towcester, really. It's more interesting.
As I say, it was very organised. And then the following day, they took down all the metal barriers and whatever, and it was back to being the tourist, destination it always was. So England are in Argentina and in the USA. They're going to Washington. I don't think you're following them to Washington, are you?
No. I'm away from the IT department for 2 weeks as it is. I don't want him to get used to it.
Well, Scotland played in Washington last year, and Elliot was telling me it was a good laugh. So hopefully our American listeners will enjoy England visiting the US. Scotland are doing a Pacific tour, which our Scottish prop, hello Elliot, invited me on. I did ask if he was paying. He didn't take up the offer. So they're going to all sorts of places like Fiji and Tonga and sort of New Zealand. It's all very exciting. But they're also playing, wait for it, Samoa.
Yep. And who's going to be playing for Samoa?
Yak! So Yak Mapu is playing for Samoa, and he very delightedly yesterday told me, I'm going to be playing against Elliot and Hutch. Oh, top work. So might see Hutch holding a tackle bag beforehand. Well, you never know. Greg, I might have actually noticed how brilliant our centre is. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I really do hope that it ends up, Elliot versus Yak, and Hutch versus Yak as well. So I hope that happens. And then Yak was telling us he's then off into the Pacific Championship Series where they all play each other, and so good luck, Yak. I hope it goes well. And then we got a small matter of the Lions.
Oh yes, we did discover where the other home nations that we have no interest in whatsoever are going. So Wales are going to Japan, Ireland unusually are going to Georgia and Portugal. They're not even close together, but there you go. That's what they're doing. And Italy are playing Georgia and South Africa. Again, interesting. So that's where everybody else is going. So that's, and then the Lions in Australia with our 4 boys there. We were trying to work out the potential number of Saints for England, and we could be pleasantly surprised with the number that go to England.
Yeah, I think in a conversation
as authors selected, we could be bitterly disappointed as well. However,
but we've got high hopes. So we've got a goodly number of Saints travelling with you.
I have very high hopes.
Yes, yes.
But talking about our Lions, 2 of them have presented themselves as a new comedy duo, haven't they? On a TV programme.
So TNT have decided that they're going to have another news show. Not quite sure. Magazine programme. Yes, and it was aired, the first one was aired last week on Friday, called The Breakdown, and it featured that comedy duo of Fremo and Henry Pollock. Of course, the story that they wanted was Henry explaining what happened after the game, and they had to give interviews. That was a bit of a revelation.
Give statements
for the tape. Because we all know how that goes. Thanks to Line of Duty, you know. Yes, so said prop got a 2-week ban. I did like it that while Henry, even while he's being held by the throat, is thinking, "What can I do that's cool?
That's cool. That's what. How do I get? What can I do?
I'll get hold of his shirt and rip
his shirt."
Fremo said, "You were very pleased with that, weren't you?" Yes. So we learned that Fremo is a former Quins supporter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit.
Kind of eclectic mix, going from Quins to Tigers to us, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was in the Tigers Academy. Henry, I thought Henry was very politic, picking the Blues. Well done, Henry. Yeah, very good. But I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. They were talking about, and Fremo was having to think, which was stressing him slightly. It was painful. Yes, he was stressing him slightly.
There is lovely bit where he says he's asked a question. He went, I don't know. Oh, Henry, you do words better than me.
Which was, how would you describe Ollie Slightholme?
So that was it's if you could catch it, do have a look at it. It's well worth it. It's
interesting. It's particularly interesting because they talk about the change in the law for the role of the 9. And it got very technical. Yeah. I was like, "Whoa!" And Fremo was sweating. You could see. It's like, "I've just stayed. I should have moved earlier," he said, contributing. Whereas Henry's doing all the technical. You need to cover Finn doing this and that and the other.
Yeah.
Fremo's going,
I'm thinking about is Mitch going to do this?
Anyway, it's worth a look. It's worth a look, and it's David Flatman, Ben Kay, and Emily Scarrett. So, be interested to see who they pick. There's bound to be somebody who's in the playoffs who's going to be the next. Yeah. We haven't finished on our international tour though, have we? Because we've got the under-20s who are off to Italy.
Oh, yes, the under-20s.
And of course, when we were talking about that earlier, I forgot Mr. Tadaro is going to be very happy. He's going home. He's popping home. He's going home. No wonder he was confident about stuffing Henry, who won't be there because he's busy with the Lions. So, yes, another one of our recent signings will be, in fact, there's several of them, will be with the under-20s in their respective countries. So should be fun. And then last but not least, and the reason that the pitches at the Gardens are being lovingly reseeded and cared for and whatever is, of course, the Women's World Cup, which is taking place in August and September at the tail end of the summer. And as we mentioned last week, we will be having our Ladies Wot Pod live At the end of August. We're not going to give the exact date quite yet because we're just finalising things. Hello to Joe, who I bumped into yesterday, Joe Gordon, the CEO at the Royal Derngate, who's working with us on that. And we're very excited about it. Have you noticed the IT department have got very carried away? Last week, he wanted us to be, your IT department, he wanted us to be in the big theatre. It's like, steady on. And then yesterday he was going, you need a range of merchandise. It's like, and who's funding this?
Yeah, he's got high hopes.
He has got
higher
hopes.
Than
Expensive
we're aiming for. Ladies Wot merch. I don't know what he thinks. Mugs. What else did he suggest?
Badges. He seemed to be very big on badges. Yes.
Badges.
So at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we won't have any merch. But
CDs.
A CD of old shows. Yeah, it's called streaming.
Well, I think that was a bit of a piss take of, when you go to concerts.
Why don't we do cassette tapes while we're at it?
They've always got merch, haven't they? And so
T-shirts, reel mugs, to reel. Do you remember the old reel to reel tape?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Phonograph.
Very nice.
Bringing out our own vinyl.
Phone a friend. Sorry, something different.
Yes, so it is still going to be a busy summer of rugby. And last but not least, we can't not mention. No, that's a double negative. We must mention, do it that way around, the wheelchair rugby team, whose next round of fixtures is in mid-June at Stoke Mandeville, 15th, I think it is. And I'm going to shoot training on the 11th of June in Corby, and then I'll be doing the event at Stoke Mandeville. Anyone who's interested in where the guys are playing and all the fixtures, a bit like Lightning, a bit like Saints, are on the Saints website. So, and the last one, they're very keen. They're actually hosting it is in Kettering, at the Sports Centre in Kettering. And it's a cracking day out. You can come for a bit of it. You don't need to watch the entire day. Starts first thing in the morning at 9 and goes through to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Loads of games, loads of teams. Really interesting. And it's free! So get yourself down there and support the lads and lasses because it's a really, really good day out. And, can't wait. I can't wait to get back into it again. It should be really, really good. So there we go. Have we forgotten anything, Mrs. Saunders?
I don't think so. I've closed my book because I've ticked everything off.
Yeah, we've gone through all our list. It is episode 76. The horses are going to get shortchanged this week.
Are they? How long have we got to go?
We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. I don't think we can stretch out another 8 minutes.
No, I don't think we can. I think we've done quite well. You'll just have to speed it up. I mean, the horses will just have to put up with it.
We should say thank you to everybody who's been listening, sending us messages. We had a record-breaking week last week across all the platforms. And it was lovely. We got some fantastic feedback from people that we bump into online. We really appreciate every moment people take to say hello. You got told off because you didn't give me a hug, so I got a hug yesterday from one listener. You were stood next to me eating your fish and chips at the time, or sat next to me eating your fish and chips. So, we love the feedback we get, and more of it. We have people watching us who normally listen to us. We were getting all sorts of... So, well done, Mr. Winton.
Different.
Yes, Mr. Winton was watching us on the train, which he's discovered is very dangerous because, you start laughing at... Anyway. But, yes, so thank you to everybody.
It was the buffering. It was the buffering made us look like
the buffering,
simpletons.
Yes. Should we pause now? There we go. Right. So, have a lovely week, everybody. There's plenty of rugby, but no Saints rugby this week. Enjoy. And we'll join you next week for a very special episode because it'll be a review of the roller coaster ride.
Season.
Roller coaster ride.
In a very Ladies Wot way.
In
So
a
don't
very
expect stats
Ladies
and
Wot
stuff.
way, we'll do a review of the season. So that was episode 76 of the Ladies Wot
Yeah, it
Pod.
was. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I've lost the blessed button again. How can I lose a button?
Oh, God. So professional.
Oh, dear Lord.